I received a really good question today from a client, and I wanted to address it here for everyone else because I think this is so good for everyone else to have the opportunity to really understand some things differently. So, one thing that I love doing is teaching, and I love teaching about so many different things. I have been in this industry now for a very long time, and I have a wide array of areas of expertise. And one of those areas of expertise for me is the ego. There's really, I have learned a lot about the ego over the years. I have learned to work with ego. Now, a lot of people think that ego is so terrible and we must kill the ego. I've had people tell me that we need to kill the ego. I disagree 100%. The ego is not to be killed. It is to be learned to understand it. It's a part of us that we need to understand. It's a part of us that gets us to do a lot of things that we need to do. But there's a part of it too, the fear-based side of it, the side that keeps us small. That's the side that we need to learn to work with and work through. So the question that I received this morning was on the ego mind and how to tell the difference between intuitive hits versus ego or fear-based thoughts or ideas. So I love talking about this because here we go again. Here's ego. And, inside of that ego is designed to keep us small. It's here to protect you. It's here to keep you alive. There was a time when we needed that ego to keep us, find food, to keep our families alive, to keep ourselves alive. We've created, though, because of our lives, a lot of fear-based patterns around life and what it looks like. And, fear-based around money, relationships, abandonment, people leaving you, grief, death, so many things we have, depending on your stories, where you're at, what your paradigm is, or what your core story is. There's a lot of different things in there that can keep us from doing what we are here to do, which is to learn to follow our intuitive hits and really step out of this fear and start living a life that is full of inspiration and love and joy. But this ego part over here kind of keeps us tethered to the ground a little bit, so to speak. So it's kind of this weird scenario that we've got going on. So how do you know when it's ego versus intuitive hits? So the way that I like to tell my clients this, and we talk about this quite a bit, intuitive hits come in usually very quickly. They're kind of quiet, and it's just a knowing. It's just a sense of knowing. I get it around, especially around my business stuff. Oh my gosh, I need to go. I want to take this class. Done. I just do it. Then later, my mind comes in and goes, oh my gosh, why did you do that? Blah, 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 blah. We start questioning everything that we do. Okay, so those intuitive hits will just come in. They come in fast. You just know. There's just a sense of knowing. After that knowing comes in, that's when you will turn around and you will have the doubt. Okay, that doubt is your fear talking. That doubt is absolutely 100% your fear talking. That is your ego. What the hell are you doing? What were you thinking? Why did you do that? How embarrassing. You should be embarrassed, blah, 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 whatever the situation is. There's a million different scenarios we could have here. But that when we hear those doubts come in, when we hear that, and it's the heaviness, usually there's a heaviness with it. There's a lot of overthinking with it. There's a lot of mind chatter going on without overthinking. You're kind of beating yourself up. Maybe you don't even realize that you're doing it because you've been doing this pattern for so long. Most people, if they're unaware, they don't see this pattern that's happening for them. Okay. So we can, so if you're, let's say that you're trying to, not trying, you're looking for answers around maybe a relationship or something. You're asking for that intuitive hits to come in. So you usually get these intuitive hits in meditation. Sometimes you can get them when you're washing your dishes or doing things that are kind of mindless, where you're not really overthinking a lot and overdoing a lot, where your mind is kind of settled. This is when those intuitive hits can come in. When you're in fear-based ego mind, those intuitive hits will not come in. They won't. They can't get through that. It's kind of like I do mediumship work, and it's kind of like when you got Chatty Cathy over here, who's like in the corner, and then you got the quiet soul who wants to come in, but it can't get through chatty Cathy here. Do you know what so when we got our mind going over here, that's that chatty Cathy for us. And so if we want to get those intuitive hits to come in, we need to be doing things that are quieting that mind down. So meditation, breathing exercises, walking and calming the mind, really stepping into I call it kind of like shutting my mind down. So I do this a lot in my meditation work. I will go and just set in meditation and I just sit there for a minute and I let my mind do its chatty Cathy thing. And then I just take a deep breath and I kind of like push it to the back. I don't know how else to describe it to you and set in this state of silence. Okay. So this is a practice. If you haven't ever done it before, you might be like, what is she talking about? But you can literally go, close your eyes, let that little, and then calm it down, kind of push it to the back of your body, allowing this emptiness. It's kind of an empty space to come in for you, allowing that empty space to come in. And this is where the intuitive hits come in. Okay. I love setting in the silence like this. I don't go to sleep. It's not a sleep. It is like a very relaxed state that you go into. Okay. If you fall asleep, you're not there. That's not what I'm talking about here. And this is where you can, usually I have set an intention during this time to like, okay, you know what? I've got this going on in my business. I've got this. What is a solution? Okay. I'm not looking for the problem. I'm looking for the solution. So what could be a solution here? So that's where you can kind of let those hits come in. And then whatever you get, you'll feel them. They're light. They drop in super fast. They just kind of come in and you just have this sense of knowing. Okay. So for me, the doubt doesn't come in that space until after I get out of the meditative state. A lot of times I have gotten hits and I have immediately acted upon them. I've came immediately out of my state, done whatever it is that I was given. Yesterday it was Texas person asked them this. I did that. Later on, I was like, okay, what was that all about? I wasn't really sure, but I'm still in the to be continued with that part of it because I trust that information when it comes in like that. So this is where we can get those intuitive hits where we can know that it's intuitive hits coming in for us. That guidance is coming in for us, whatever you want to call it. You can call it a million different things, and religious there it's inspiration. To me, it's all the same. It's all spirit guidance. It's all my intuitive hits, my higher self. It's all of it. I encompass it all together. This is where I get that information and I act upon it. So, you can feel it. It's super light. If you've ever had that, you're just driving down, maybe you're driving in your car and all of a sudden it's like, oh, I need to call that person. And you're like, gosh, where did that come from? That's that. That's those intuitive hits. That's those coming in there. You're getting them all day long. It's just whether or not you're open to them. So, and ego is not that way. Okay. Ego will then say, well, why would you want to call that person? She was a real biddy last time you talked to her. Why would you want to do something like that? That's ridiculous. That's too expensive. That's too, whatever it is for you. That's when their fear-based thoughts come in. Okay. So you can tell the difference. There are two very distinctive, once you understand it, they are two very different things. They are not the same. They will never be the same. Okay. Now, acting on fear-based thoughts is not necessarily a bad thing. Okay. So people are like, oh my gosh, well, what if I screw it up? This is where people think they're going to make a mistake or do something different. No, not necessarily. I don't believe in really making mistakes. I've had people argue with me about that till the end of time. That's okay. I don't argue with them. It's their thing. I don't believe that we make mistakes. Okay. I believe that everything has a purpose, everything has a reason. So no matter what we do, no matter what choices we make, I tell my kids all the time, which one feels the best? That's the one you should do. This isn't about right or wrong here. We need to take the rightness and the wrongness out of making our decisions. There's a lot of things in life that we think are wrong and right. I'm to the point in my healing stage where I'm taking out the rightness and the wrongness of everything. What feels the best to me, what feels like for me the best way to go, and that's what I do. And everything that I do inside of that is for me, is for my good, is for my growth, my expansion. It's not that everything that I do turns out fabulous, although most things do. Most of the time they do because I have that energy about me that the decisions that I make are perfect for me and everything always works out for the best for me. So that's the energy that I go out into the world with. We change this energy around the rightness and the wrongness and give ourselves permission, take ourselves out of these boxes and allow ourselves to go. So, if you're making a decision based on fear, it'll usually feel very constricted. It's not the end of the world if you do that. But the more that we practice being in this intuitive side and this openness side and this side over here, oh my gosh, that's where your life expands and grows. We're still human in all of this. We're still having a human experience. I should say it that way because I am spirit first, having a freaking human experience in this fabulous body that I'm in that I love and adore every single day. And when we can stay in that energy and go with the flow of life, doing our healing work, allowing these intuitive hits to come in, this is where you're going to create a fabulous life. So I hope this is helpful for you. If you know someone who would benefit from this, please share them with them. Allow them to come into our circle here. I want to grow, I want to expand, and I want to help millions of people really learn to live their best life. So if you could help me out, share this with a friend, like it, share it, leave me a comment. I'd love to hear from you. I love waking up to comments of people. That was so helpful. I enjoyed that. Even if you didn't enjoy it, let me know what you didn't enjoy about it. Is there something else you would like me to cover? I'd be happy to do that. So much love. Have a fabulous day, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye for now.